Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. Wrapping up with 5 of the 6-inch Black Series line is this very cool figure. This is of course Chewbacca. This is an absolutely awesome figure, and really I was kind of more excited about this guy than I was for Darth Vader, and it's not hard to understand why. We'll talk about that in just a little bit, but my god, this figure is awesome and he weighs a ton. He's absolutely huge and definitely the biggest figure that's been released in the Black Series so far, with the exception of Jabba the Hutt, of course. We'll talk about this guy in a little bit more detail in just a little bit, but before we do, we're going to take a look at the packaging that Chewbacca comes in. Now, once again, we have the brand new Black Series 6-inch line look with this one. We have the blue Death Star lights in the backdrop, we've got a redesign to the entire package, and overall it's just a very nice presentation. As you can see in the bottom of the box there, we do have the Star Wars Black Series logo. We also have the area there where the figure would sit, and at the top a very strange but very cool stylized image of Chewbacca. On the back of the box we have the character's name, description and a quote from the film. Yeah, if you can call that a quote. And there you'll see, I can do a much better Wookiee impression than that. I'm not sure what that was all about. What I meant to say was so there we go. As you can see there, we do have a very cool stylized image of Han and Chewie, obviously fending off a few stormtroopers. And at the bottom of the box we have the Hasbro and Disney logos. Now, I know I said at the beginning of the review that I'm wrapping up this wave. These 3 figures that I've given you a look at in my past few videos aren't the only figures that are available in wave 5. There is another Sand Trooper available in this wave as well, although I decided to skip that one because I don't really want to, get into the habit of buying repacks and repaints in this line. I want to keep it simple, and the only real difference between the new Sand Trooper and the very first one that was released is a different coloured pauldron. So for me, it's not really worth the purchase. But he's out there if you want to pick him up. So there's the box for Chewie. Now let's take a look at the figure itself, and let me tell you, blown away by this guy. He's absolutely superb. A really good figure. First and foremost is the sheer size of this guy. Before I zoom in on this one, I just want to give you a bit of a size comparison. As I said, he weighs an absolute ton. He's easily the biggest figure from the 6-inch line so far, and if we compare him to a figure such as the Jedi Luke from the same wave, as you'll see, he's absolutely massive. I'm pretty sure it's an accurate scale, but he is huge. Even when placed next to figures such as his trusty buddy Han Solo, he's still a very big figure. These two look great together, might I add. If you've picked up the Han Solo from Wave 2, you've definitely got to get Chewie, because these guys just go hand in hand together. Really cool duo there. So obviously, as I said, a very big figure, and he's very heavy as well. I couldn't believe the weight of this one. It's really hefty, but very cool. So let's take a look at him in a little bit more detail, and as always we're going to run through articulation and accessories first. In terms of articulation, Chewie is posable to the brim. He's absolutely packed with articulation and posability. He does have a ball jointed neck, although obviously the sculpted fur does hinder some of that movement somewhat. He has hinged shoulders and elbows, hinged wrists. Similar to the 3 3/4 inch figures of Chewbacca that we've seen over the years, he has a 3-part ball jointed torso. As you can see, he's got a ball joint here, here and here. Of course, he has hinged hips, swivel thighs, and ball jointed knees and ball jointed ankles. Now, one thing I just want to mention, and I'm not sure whether this will be a running theme throughout all of these figures, but the joints on my version of Chewie were very tight indeed. I actually had to pop off one of the legs and try and separate the joint, because it seemed that the 2 sides of the leg just here had actually got stuck to the joint itself, so it really took some getting So I'm getting to move there, and as you can see I've actually worn some of the paint away, which isn't great quality control on the part of Hasbro, but at least I got it moving and it wasn't stuck in place for this review. So that is the articulation that Chewie has. In terms of accessories, obviously he comes with his famous bowcaster, which again, like the 3 3/4 inch weapons that Chewie comes with, is actually separated into 3 pieces. The section at the front there can be removed, as well as the scope. I'm not going to do that now because, quite frankly, we don't need to. You know, we never see Chewie disassemble the bowcaster in the film, so no reason to do it in this review. As you can see, it's been given a very nice weathered look, which looks absolutely fantastic. Really nicely sculpted. Again, like with most of the weapons and accessories from this 6-inch line, has a ton of detail sculpted into it. So really impressed with that. And the second accessory that he comes with is the bandolier strap with the satchel. Now, with past Chewbacca figures, this hasn't been much of an accessory as opposed to a sculpted detail, whereas with this one, it's completely removable. So you can actually lift this one over the head and voila, we have a naked Chewie. Now, one of the things that I really like about this figure is the fact that where the bandolier strap sits on the figure, Hasbro have actually sculpted their fur as though it's been matted down, which is a really nice detail, and it also allows the bandolier strap to sit in place. As you can see, there are a couple of grooves there in the fur, which is really cool in my opinion. Really nice detail, and I'm really glad that they did that. Obviously, Chewie's never seen in the film in his butt-naked glory, but you know, it's a cool feature nonetheless, and it's nice that that bandolier strap is indeed removable. And once again, you've got some great details on there. You've got the buckles on the bag, got some nice weathering on there as well. Just a great accessory all round, and it fits nicely over the figure. In terms of general sculpt, as you can see, the fur is incredibly well detailed. You've got all the draping hair, all the different shades in the fur, just very cool all around. And the head sculpt is reasonable as well. Now, I've heard a lot of people not so much criticise this figure, but say that they'd prefer a more neutral expression on Chewie's face, whereas in my opinion I think this one works much better. You know, it gives him more of an action orientated feature. It just makes him look a little bit more aggressive and a little bit cooler than he does with just a smile or a neutral face. Very cool indeed. Really love that head sculpt. It's reasonably accurate. And again, you've got all the really cool shaded detail there in the fur. And also in the face as well. So, just an all-round awesome figure. Really happy to have added this one to my collection. He's very cool. As I said, absolutely huge figure, so God only knows where I'm going to store this one, but definitely worth the purchase, and he's just an awesome example of value for money, you know. For the price that you pay for these figures, you know, around $19.99, this guy just comes with it all. You know, him and Darth Vader from this wave, fantastic figures all around. And it kind of makes you wonder, you know, why we're paying the same price for this guy that we are for 6-inch figures such as the upcoming Yoda and the R2-D2 that was released in the first wave, you know. As I've said before, the argument that I always put forward is that much less plastic has been used, so, you know, why are we paying more for these figures? In my opinion, there should be different tiers in price, but that's digressing and getting onto a completely different subject altogether. So that is going to do it for this review on the 6-inch Chewbacca figure from the Black Series line by Hasbro. Again, an awesome looking figure, and definitely one that I recommend adding to the collection, particularly if you've already picked up Han from the same line. So I hope you've enjoyed this review, guys, and I will be back to give you a look at some more figures and Lego sets in the very near future. Obviously, the Rebels figures are slowly but surely starting to leak onto shelves. I've got a ton of Lego to give you a look at still as well, so plenty to look forward to. I've also got a few 3 3/4 inch Black Series figures to give you a look at too, so stay tuned for all of those, and many more. So until next time, guys, thank you for watching this review, and until next time, which is Wookiee translated for keep collecting, and may the Force be with you.